Hi guys, this is Ashraf. I will be doing a review about my very first 3D printer, which is the Geeetech Prusa I3B that I bought last March. Well, yeah, I ran into several problems about this 3D printer kit that is very typical of this 3D printer kit that came from China, that you would ran into a lot of problem like electronic, like my case, the first electronic that came, well, it doesn't have a bootloader, and it turned out to be that the 8 mega chip on board of the Sanguino 1.3A board has been bricked, and I cannot burn the bootloader inside. So I asked for a replacement, as well as the A4899, I think A4899, and another 4 pieces of step stick, because well, when there is no bootloader, when you turn on the printer, the motor will move on its own without stop, and of course, yeah, that's not all. One of the main reasons why it fried my step stick, due to my y-axis has reached at the end of the line, and also about my x-axis, the screw has pinched the belt and making it unable to move by using the motor, and by using hand also need to use a lot of force to move it. And of course, not primarily my fault. It was because of the lack of proper instruction that says that you must have a smooth linear motion for all of these axes, but the guide, the assembly instruction, doesn't say anything about smooth motion at all. So I thought that would be pretty normal. That was my first problem. The second was that my Z-axis coupler, the slot for the lead screw or the M8 threaded rod, it doesn't fit right in. I mean, the slot for the coupler is measured around 8 mm, while the M8 threaded rod measured around 7.6 to 7.7 mm. Even though I tried to tighten the 2 bolts at the side of the coupler, it doesn't help at all. The threaded rod still loose, so yeah, I tried to stuff something in. It worked for a little while, but yeah, better don't, because you might end up getting your threaded rod bent at the end of the threaded rod, just like mine, and it might produce a problem, a new problem actually. So as for that, I had to use a community 3D printer to print myself a coupler, which is an anti-wobble Z coupler that I will be putting it on my description below. Yeah, that one you need to use another 4 nuts and M3 bolts. So yeah, it worked. That was my second problem. The third problem was that the adjustable nut for the bed, all 4 points of the bed, and all for the x-axis and y-axis bearing over there. Well, my very first print was a low poly bulbasaur planter, which took me about 3.5 hours prints, and it turned out to be that, well, pretty much successful. But the main problem was that the instruction says that you gotta use a wing nut, but the problem with wing nut is that it tends to become loose whenever the printer vibrates rigorously. So all these 6 wing nuts, I replaced it with the lock nut that I have extra laying around. Yeah, it does fix the problem itself. That's the third problem. And the fourth problem is that some of the screws are too short, especially for the belt bearing, the one that you have to screw at the end of the axis, and it was too short, so I changed it to longer ones. Also, I put in another lock nuts between the wall of the tightening lock nut. So this is the C bearing, the C bracket for the bearing over here. So the bolt came through of the C bearing, C bracket for the bearing, and there's a lock nut over here, wall, and another lock nut. The outer lock nut is for me to tighten the belt at will. Yeah, I think that was my fourth problem. The fifth one, the LCD, it is dead. Actually, I have no means of printing it from LCD, and it doesn't show anything. Currently, I am waiting for a replacement for my coupler, along with a new LCD that is proper LCD. Yeah, I already filed a complaint issue about my problem. That was the fifth. The sixth, probably not so important, but well, it is the top end of the C axis. Someone says that you have to cut down your Z-axis threaded rod by a few centimeters below the stop bracket, but actually it is to reduce the chance of wobbling. So I didn't do that, but instead I took the trouble of modeling a Z-axis threaded, a bracket for the Z-axis top. Yeah, it worked pretty well, although I wasted quite a lot of my white ABS plastics because of misalignment of the hole for the M8 smooth rods. Well, that's the sixth. The seventh one isn't so important as well, but it is one of the things that you have to look at as well. It is the metal ring that will clamp down the smooth rods of each ends for the Z-axis and the X-axis. It is so that it will stay put. But the problem was that, well, those clamps doesn't fit on my smooth rods. So I took another trouble to model another rod clamp. So yeah, it worked pretty well. Instead of relying on this metal ring to clamp down, I just use the rod clamp, the printable rod clamp. So yeah, it worked pretty well. You can replace it anytime without taking out all the rods, just to put in the ring clamp. So yeah, I think that is all of my issue, all 7 issues, the wonders of 7 issues of the Geeetech Prusa I3B. So yeah, probably this isn't much of a So my thought about this printer. Overall, the printer is very good compared to every other of Prusa series 3D printer that is sold around China mainland, like Sanhoki, Prusa, probably Minbot, or Replicio, or any other acrylic base. Geeetech offers you an acrylic that has 8mm thick, which is 2mm thicker than any average Prusa acrylic based Prusa, and some of the suppliers that sells Prusa, some of them sells at provide you about 5mm to 6mm thickness, and that's quite well weak. And yeah, that's the main reason why I bought Geeetech. It is due to their design, the robustness of their design. Yeah, that is, I think, pretty much it. Yeah, I've been renting a lot of my programs. I'm going to show you my 3D printer, and the noise you've been hearing since the beginning of this video is actually from my 3D printer sitting right next to me, to the right of me over here. Yeah, it is printing right now, printing a thing from Thingiverse, which is an origami rabbit. And last night I got the hot end calibrated, the flow rate actually, and it is, I set it around 80%. Yeah, more to that later on another video about flow rate. Probably my thought about flow rate controls, the calibration process, and probably the limit of the flow rate that is the lowest you could go. So yeah, this will be my 3D printer, my very first 3D printer. And yeah, well, this is it. The light, actually, I bought an LED array for cheap. Yeah, I just wired it, like some routing, e-wiring from the fan. So I just split the wire. And about my wiring, the extruder and hot end cables goes in front over here, so it will have better cable management compared from the back. Yeah, I just washed my glass over here, and been having several problems with the glass, the bed, because printing switching between PLA and ABS are not that pleasant at all. The problem was that when you are firing up the bed up until 110 degrees Celsius, it tend to go down much lower compared to 70 degrees. So I've been playing around with a Z homing offset. So yeah, more to that later on another video. Yeah, the LCD pretty much dead. Probably I'm able to control, but better don't, because I don't see anything. I might mess up the printer. And this is the parts that took me a lot of trouble to clean and get the hole for smoke rod to get aligned with the original part. But I leave the threaded rod open over here, so it won't clamp. As you can see, this end of the threaded rod slightly bent because I tried to stuff something inside the original aluminum coupler, and this is the anti-wobble Z-axis coupler that I printed from Thingiverse. Like I said earlier, the link will be down in the description below. And the best thing about Geeetech compared to other generic Prusa, including the original Prusa, well, you got to mount your end stop, mechanical end stop over here, not clamp onto the smooth rods, and you got to have a adjustable Z end stop. Also, this mechanical end stop or X-axis also will be triggered by the X carriage, custom made by Geeetech themselves. So yeah, pretty much better. What else? The Y-axis end stop also at the back over there, also mounted on the acrylic. Yeah, that pretty much it for the end stops. I might be doing some walkthrough about how to wire this kind of mechanical end stop to your board. Yeah, and this is the Y-axis belt. I made this belt guide idler. For the belt idler, it is to prevent the belt from grinded by the metal bracket over here. So this is a lock nut. I put on an M3 rosette. Description down below as well for the link of this object. And there's another lock nut inside here. Same goes for the X-axis belt. Lock nut inside here and lock nut outside over here. And also all of the 4 points of this bed screws, the nuts, I changed to lock nut as well, because yeah, when the printer vibrates rigorously, the wing nut tend to get loose, as well as this the Y-axis belt, also the X-axis, and yeah, it can mess up your mechanical stuff over here. And I would recommend you to change into lock nuts or just nuts, but yeah, lock nuts are much better compared to normal nuts. What else? And yeah, I forgot, this is the rod clamp that I model. Description down below as well. Actually, it is based on original Prusa mount for the end stops. So, but I just model it like this U shape, so it will clip better. So you can remove it anytime you want. And the power supply, it is mountable at the side of this wall over here. I mean, the structure over here. And the white thing over here is actually I model it to have extra little safety. And the switch, the power input, and don't forget to check your, to switch to your rated current over here. If you are living in US that has 110 to 120 volts, so switch it, okay, don't forget, or you might run into problem. What else? This Y-axis taper motor. This is a GT2 pulley. GT2 belt with 22 pulley. So don't forget to check that at Prusa calculator. It is pretty much important. And this is my wiring, cable management. This is for temporary only. That sits that from the top here. Yeah, actually this one have gone astray because this is a an X-axis motor cable. So I think I'm gonna need to use another cable tie to tie it over here. And I think the good thing is that, well, it is based on Prusa grabber. Prusa grabber pretty much, I think, pretty much better compared to this, because it tends to cover everything, like almost like probably the Mendel Max 3, but yeah, there's no one been selling that. So yeah, and if you notice that this acrylic plate at the back over here, where's the Y-axis motor got bent inward, hopefully it will be okay without breaking, and I think it has bent by about 2 to 3 millimeters inwards. And also the cable management for the power, from the main power to the electronic over here goes bottom. So, and this is my electronic, and the more cable management. And also I forgot to say that actually I bought another hot end for the Mark N extruder. That is because, well, the original hot end that came with the kit, I pretty much busted it as well. That is because of the lack of proper instruction. It says to dismantle a little while to mount it, but, well, it doesn't say that there's a proper orientation for the heat brake for you to mount. And yeah, and I pretty much over tightened it and ended up, well, unusable, because I cannot open the original hot end. So yeah, pretty much I'm unable to salvage the whole thing, because the drop screw to hold the heat brake, well, the thread inside has shredded and cannot be turned anymore. And yeah, this object is almost finished. And yeah, there's a lot of artifact, especially on the ears and the hand over here. That is because I'm running this with 80% flow rate, because I calibrated with a cube last night. Of course, like earlier in the video, I will say that I said that I will make another, well, how to calibrate your flow rate, but yeah, pretty much bad for 80% flow rate. I think I'm going to run another test. I'm going to run another test with a cube with about 15% infill. What else? Yeah. What else, guys? Yeah, I forgot. This is an extruder stepper motor bracket, actually, with cable clamp or wire clamp, anything you want to call it. Also, the bottom part over here has been extended, actually, for me to mount the LED array. But the problem is with the double-sided foam tape. Well, it easily came off for unknown reason. Well, yeah, those kind of double-sided foam tape are not that great, so I have to use cable tie over here, zip tie. Just clear it. And yeah, this is actually my design. In the description below as well, gonna put that. This part is a snap fit for most stepper motor, and actually this is a great accessory for your 3D printer for better cable management, because well, yeah, this thing sits much better, so the wire won't get, I mean, it will stay there much better. But for most Geeetech owners, well, take note that this screw or this corner over here might hit into this Z-axis threaded rod on the right side over here. So yeah, you guys better be careful, and do not forget to limit your maximum x-axis. For me, I set my maximum x-axis up to about 185 millimeters. So yeah, I get my maximum print size of, well, 185 by 180 and 180. So yeah, the y-axis is 180 millimeter, and yeah, I think this is pretty much for the review of the Geeetech. And let me conclude the this printer from Geeetech themselves. Well, actually I got this 3D printer from an agent in China. I got this pretty much cheap, around $360. Currently, I think they are having some sort of 3D printer sales war, and some of them selling around $300, and Geeetech go as low as $250. But I think that is for the kit itself only, not including the shipping cost for the worldwide. Probably the total cost for the 3D printer with shipping price, I think will be $360. So yeah, they are having some kind of 3D printer sales war right now, who can offer the lowest price. Well, what I can say is that most 3D printer that is from China, you cannot expect it to be perfect. You have to expect some parts will be missing, like some screws are missing, or probably some part of it are not working. So yeah, I guess that is pretty common of China. Lack of proper quality control or quality check for their 3D printers or most of their products. If you have some extra bucks, like probably around $500, why not try to buy from, well, Gadget 3D or some from some of the trustable or more quality product, like from Knockhead, the Mendel 90. I think he is the one who well, invented the Mendel 90. I think his printer is pretty much good. Or probably Mendel Max 1.5 would cost you about $500 or $600, including shipping from Gadget 3D, and I would be most likely going to buy another 3D printer, and probably either from makers Tool 3D or Gadget 3D, and actually I have been wanting for a Mendel Max 1.5, but Mendel Max 1.5 you have to add another $200 because of its structure, and the main issue is that it uses aluminum extrusion profile, and that is pretty much hard to find, and some other things, and it is pretty much overly engineered, but it offers pretty much rigid design. Yeah, probably my second printer will be a better quality from trustable seller, probably Gadget 3D or Maker Tool. Like I said, I'm going to see how my budget goes first. Well, it is pretty much common for your very first 3D printer will be the cheapest, but in the end you might be spending extra $100 just for some kind of replacement, just like mine over here, just to get this printer working as soon as possible, because waiting for the spare parts, especially for the board to drive the mechanical stuff, the hot end and other stuff, took me about another month actually. So yeah, I bought another Rens 1.4 that is a full kit along with a full graphic LCD panel, and yeah, I got it pretty much working. So yeah, the print has ended. Yeah, this is it guys, it has ended. So it doesn't look very nice. There's a lot of artifacts in the ears over here and pretty much digital. See, it breaks. This is because of the flow rate that I set to 80%. As for 80%, probably it is very good for finer prints or some other things. Yeah, I'm not going to cover flow rate in this video. So what else? I think that is pretty much for this review of the Geeetech I3B. And my tips is actually the conclusion. It is hard to recommend you guys to buy this Chinese 3D printer, but if you want to go cheap, well, why not? Or if you have extra bucks to spare for a quality 3D printer, go for it. Don't go for the Chinese one, or unless probably you are desperate for a 3D printer like myself, probably. Yeah, just go for it. Yeah, you have to improvise a lot of things because of the lack of proper instruction. I think that's pretty much it. This is a very long video for about 30 minutes already. I will be adding another video about flow rate, setting up this 3D printer, and most likely will be tips and tricks on how to solve problems. Of course, you might be you might have watched videos from Tom Sandlander. He is pretty much good. Yeah, respect for him. But yeah, every person has their own kind of idea how to solve their problems, right? So I'm going to make my own guide as well. Pretty much simple, won't be as good as other people's. So yeah, I think I'm sorry for ranting too much. So that is all for the Geeetech Prusa I3B kit that I bought from China through an agent. I finished one of my ABS plastic that is white, and compared to PLA, I think I would prefer ABS more than PLA actually, because it is much sturdier compared to PLA. Well, yeah, I think I'm going to sign out. Well, do subscribe to my channel, like this video if you like it, dislike if you don't like this video because it probably due to its length and yeah, lack of proper explanation. I live in Malaysia actually. I'm not very good in English, sorry for that. And yeah, I'm going to make another video in the future. Hopefully I will be able to upload the video because of the bandwidth problem. And yeah, thank you guys for watching. Have a good day and peace guys.